What's the deal? What's poppin'? What's good? This is Leo from Art Mart. We put together events, creative events with concerts, live paintings, vendors, the culinary arts. We're trying to hit every angle of the local creative community, Broward County, West Palm Beach. This is Out the Box with Creatives. We interview people that think out the box, build out the box, or find their inspiration out of the box, meaning outside of corporate, outside of your societal norms. We're trying to build something interesting and new. So tonight we are interviewing Angie.
Hey,
So I met Angie not too long ago, and she is a fellow event curator. And her and her brother put together some really phenomenal musical showcases. So Angie, even though we're just meeting, I'm curious as to what your origin story was. What initially inspired you to be a creative, be an artist, even going back to your childhood?
All right, I'll start with my childhood. I think that it's always been writing, mainly because I never had the guts or the courage, or I was just really shy to express vocally. So writing was my way to express or just be creative, and I loved rhyming. That was just the thing, like the Mother Goose things, and I don't know if you know Shel Silverstein. So it's like a poetry book, but everything was rhymey, and so at 8 years old, I was at the Dare Club, and they wanted us to be creative and give them that message. And I took, at that time, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song, and I created it into, Say No to Drugs, pretty much. And
Was it a rap?
it was a rap.
What?
It was exactly like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No way.
I just changed the words, and that was the beginning of something. Because it was something that was kind of guided to me, like, hey, everybody do what you think you can, and mine was writing. So ever since then, that became like a thing for me. Like I just started writing, and then later in the years, I want to say it was in 2008, 2009. My cousin brought me to an open mic for the very first time, and she knew I had like piles of poetry, and she's like, Angie, you can do whatever on the open mic, and you have a mic and you can share your poetry. And since then, I never looked back. I just started going to different open mics, and being involved in the community was so inspiring because how you share the same interests and the passion, and the people, the majority, I want to say, if not all that I met, are very humble. They're very understanding, or it seems they're very supportive, more than anything. Very supportive. And you and the community you have given that as well. So it's a beautiful thing to be a part of it. Also, someone had said, like attracts like, so your energy is going to attract the same. And if it's not the same, you can influence that on people. And I think that's where it just kind of started, I don't know, like a snowball effect, and started picking up on from the open mics. I met other people that got me into being an art vendor. And that was just also me doing just for my own expression.
And you're talking about your personal paintings, right?
Yes, it's like writings on canvas. And,
right.
And that became another thing. And then one of the curators pretty much brought me under her wing, and I became that. So it wasn't something that I was like, this is what I want to do. It was just more so feeling that it was very welcoming and it was very natural, and the people also were very welcoming to it, and it was one of those like, this is what you do, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not?
So not to interrupt, but that's a good segue into my second part of this question.
Okay.
Was that the moment where you realized that this is something you're going to commit to?
Yeah, I want to thank my brother, GQ.
I met him. Awesome guy.
Yeah. He was the one who took the initial opportunity. We have family at the Pompano Brewing Company that you went to, and our cousin had been asking for a while, like if I would be interested, or if I knew anybody that would do an open mic kind of vibe there. And they only asked me because I went to open mics, but I never saw myself ever doing anything like that or going.
About how long ago was that?
That was a little over a year ago, probably like, I don't know, 18 months ago. So it's still fairly new to me, believe it or not, because the community is huge. And recently just meeting you and seeing everything that you've, been able to create. And it does take a village, right? So
yeah, it really does.
Things.
Like, yeah.
If it wasn't for the artists and the talent, we wouldn't have a platform to, to enjoy. So it is that, the give and take and being present. I love it. It's a lot of work, but at the ending of the night, me and my brother always leave with a smile. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just something I want to mention about your music showcases. I found it was very intimate, and there was for a use of modern terminology, there was a lot of feels in the room. It was more than a good vibe. It felt like everyone was close friends or something like that.
Yeah. You kind of see some familiar people, faces, but then it's also a collaborative thing. Like I said, like attracts like, so a musician, saxophone player, guitar player, but then they know the song and they're like, all right, let's play together. And it's so cool to see, because I'm very shy, or I would say I used to be very shy, and there was people out there that'd be like, hey, they'll just ask you questions, and it's like one of those, do we just become best friends, and it's one of those, you share so many interests or similar music interests, so it is a cool thing to see, because I get impressed every time I go and I see two complete strangers, and then they're jamming up on stage, and then they're playing at a gig the next, and it's just like, oh, you see these little babies growing.
That's cute. So in that way, that's where the networking comes in as well. It's like a networking event as well, right?
Yeah. It's definitely gotten me out of my comfort zone. It's weird because my family, or I would say my brothers and a few of my friends or cousins even, will tell me oh, but this is you're natural, or is this what you do? But I am friendly, yes. I just think that in this community, it is more I'm going out of my way to be hey, would you like to perform, or would you and I want it to be genuine. It's not because I need people to come, but I really want to be hey, I saw you perform, or I saw your art, and be personable about it, because I know how it feels, being an artist, or having talent, or having just something created by me, and having someone really dig in, or at least pinpoint something specific about who you are, not just come to my show and play, or sell something. So it is that part where I'm more caring in that sense, more mindful, I should say, about that.
Yeah, a perfect example of that is when you came to see Lyrical Rain perform, even though you had to go to Miami that night, and you stayed until 10:30.
I did.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful.
Yeah, well, she's really good. She's really good, and I said I was going to leave at this time, and then I ended up.
Shout out to Lyrical Rain.
Yeah, shout out to Lyrical Rain.
So you could choose any or all of your mediums that you work with, but what's your creative process? So I'll ask you initially, what I'm most curious is your writing. What's your creative process? And as a side, I really want to hear that Ninja Turtle rap song.
I got to call the school for that, because I don't have it.
Okay.
I would love it. I want to find it so badly. But the process, it's more of a feeling than anything else. So I was just speaking to one of our talented friends, how it's more about inspired action. So sometimes, we have a deadline or something like that. If that's the case, then I'll freestyle. Just grab a blank piece of paper and just freestyle, whatever, gibberish, even if it's not words, letters. And something will come out of it. Most times, I should say. Sometimes I'll just sleep on it, or I'll take a substance of some kind.
Okay, fair.
But Not always, but
That's very helpful in the artist
it
community for sure.
It can be helpful. So it's just a matter of what inspires you. But for the most part, I think I speak more on that authenticity, and what example I want to set. And whether it's being an example of what to do or what not to do. So if I can put that into words and it touch someone in a positive way or in a way where it could, open up the mind, and starting with me, of course. So and that's where it had begun. If it wasn't for the writing, I don't know. I'm sure it would eventually take me to that because it was very natural for me, and because it was hidden. I just folded up, nobody else would see it, and then opening up to a world where now everybody's seeing this vulnerable side of expression.
Are you satisfied that you showed your writing to the world?
Yes and no. I mean, not the whole world. But once when you hide it so much, everybody's like trying to see what's going on. But when you're like out in the open, like nobody really pays attention.
Right. That's the paradox.
Yeah. So I think that kind of encourages me to just put things out instead of trying to hold it in, because I think it creates that, like kind of, people are still going to find out or something.
Right.
So I'd rather it be on my terms than someone else.
Well said.
Yeah, So I try.
So Angie, like looking at the big picture of your creative journey so far, what's the main thing that you're trying to communicate to people?
To feel free. Actually, it just reminded me of a friend, render writer. To feel free to feel free. I think that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful quote. Shout out to render writer. And everybody is unique in their own way. You can sing a song, and the next person can sing the same song. It's never going to sound exactly the same.
Right.
So if you can own that and know that, and I speak this to myself as well, it's not just to everyone else, but I'm listening to this as well. Just, if you can really listen to that and own that, then you can really, truly enjoy yourself, because you're being true to yourself. And if we can give a safe place for people to do that, I would be more than happy to know that I'm part of that, side, where I can give a platform where it's safe and people are going to encourage that and push you to keep being your authentic self and do it wholly unapologetically.
Yeah,
so,
unapologetically. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, like this is me.
Please.
Like no matter what, like this is me. Take it or leave it. I'm still gonna be me.
This is what it is. Yeah. So, and those that love you will love you. That's just it. And those that don't matter. Just keep moving.
They'll keep it moving and attract to other people that they are attracted to.
I mean, you're an artist yourself, so when you draw, like, I'm sure there's certain things that you may not be proud of, but had you draw it, it's because somebody else needs to see that, because it's going to affect the person who's receiving it. And it's like a simultaneous thing. I believe that's how it works,
Right.
You're inspired, it's somebody that needs to see that.
Right, and you learn something from that as well.
For sure.
That's super fire, Angie.
Yeah. I try.
Well,
anything that helps to keep, staying creative and doing what you love.
Would you be down to do another podcast sometime in the future?
Sure. Yeah. This is awesome. I love this.
Nice. Well, me too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Angie girl. My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, for sure. All right, y'all.
Yay.